This is why we do what we do. This is why when bad things happen, matter of fact, I'm gonna get it right here. This is Romans 12:17. Recompense to no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. Right? Why would you not pay somebody back evil when they did you evil? Why would you not do this? Well, here's why. Because you understand, it's not about what we see, it's about the things that we don't see, right? It's not about who's in front of us, it's about who's not in front of us physically, right? You can't really get wrapped up in the things that you see. You can't get wrapped up in what's going on, right? You got to keep your faith on the Lord. You got to keep your mindset on the Lord, right? You got to believe in His plan, right? You got to believe in His plan. And ironically enough, that's the same energy women are supposed to have towards their husbands. And that same energy children are supposed to have towards their parents, right? If a parent says to the child, listen, this is the plan, this is what we're going to go with, right? The child supposed to say, okay, now ask questions, go with it, right? Because they're supposed to have that faith in their parents that they're going to do right by them. Same thing with the wife, right? The husband's supposed to say something, the wife's supposed to go with it, and that's supposed to be that, right? She has to have faith that her husband have her best interests and they're going to be okay, right? And matter of fact, it's not even with the wife situation. It's not even really about interest. It's not even really about her thinking, oh, I need, is he going to have my best interest? It's not even really about that with the wife, right? And here's why. Because women that are married, they get to the kingdom by their obedience to their husbands, right? Because the Most High God said that's the most important thing for a female, to get married and to listen to her husband. The Most High God said that's the most important thing for a wife, right? So that's her only job: get married, have children, take care of the house, and listen to her husband. That's how she gets into the kingdom, right? That's what she got to do. If she want to get into the kingdom, that's what you got to do. Now, let's imagine a scenario where the woman happened to marry a guy who didn't have any more faith, right? And he has her doing wrong things, and she's listening, not because she wants to do wrong things or anything like that, but because she wants to be obedient to the Most High God. Two things are going to happen in that situation. One, the guy's going to get removed by being killed, and the Lord's going to set up somebody else in play to basically bring her and keep her in the shadow of God. Or B, he's going to have the guy repent, right? But there's no way that a female can follow a man, right? And she's doing this because she wants to serve God, right? She's following her husband because she wants to serve God. There's no way that can happen, and a female can get in trouble for it, right? Now, following God. Now, I'm about to go into what I mean for a second. I'm going off a lesson for a second, but you have there's a story. I think it's Ananias, and I can't remember his wife's name, but in the gospel, you had what? You had in the gospel, you had Ananias and his wife, right? And they sold everything they had, and they gave a portion of it to the church, and they kept a portion of it for themselves, just in case the church fell through and yada yada yada, right? Now, the wife was following the husband's lead, right? And here's what happened. Basically, it got back to Peter, whether it was through the Spirit or whatever. Peter found out And then he asked the husband, like, hey, did you give the church everything that you had, or did you keep some for yourself? He lied and said, yeah, I gave the church everything. The Lord killed him on the spot. Now his wife came into the picture. What's up, brother? Now his wife came into the picture, right? Peter asked her, did you did your husband, did you and your husband give us everything you had, or did you keep some for yourself? She lied and said, yeah, we gave you everything. Died. But here's the thing on that. Here's the thing on that. There's a difference between following your husband, right, and doing something wrong just for the sake of obedience. And it's a whole other thing to be confronted in that type of situation, right, and then just doing wrong in that kind of sense. If she would have said, yeah, we did this, but I'm just following my husband, this, that, and the third, I'm convinced, I'm pretty sure she would have survived that. But the whole point on that is what? Matter of fact, the whole point on that is you can't go wrong following your husband, right? If you're doing it for God. You can't go wrong for following your husband. You can never go wrong. The Lord is going to always see to it that you're good because you're doing your part. You're doing what you're supposed to do, which is obedience to your husband. So you're doing what you're supposed to do, right? Now, again, you have another story with, matter of fact, I don't even get into that. But, yeah, but the thing that the women do that gets them into the kingdom is obedience to their husband. That's how they get into the kingdom, right? And if the husband is the evildoer and he's wrong, you just remain faithful and do what he says. You just got to have faith to be brought out of that situation. And that's the same thing for us right now as men, right? Even though right now, like, because as men, we're the wives to Yahweh Shem Shai. So the Lord is bringing us through all this garbage, right? And our job is just to remain faithful to him. Despite what we see, despite what's going on, we still got to remain faithful to him, right? Because that's our job, right? Despite what we got to go through, despite what we got to deal with, our job is to remain faithful to Yahweh Shem Shai. And then through doing this, we'll be delivered, right? And it's the same thing with the women. Women always say, well, we got to do bad things. Or we got to listen to you. And they got this whole fight, right? Well, the Lord is bringing us men through all these bad things, and we're not fighting him about it. We're not talking back to him. We just doing what he says blindly, right? We just doing what he says blindly. Why? Because obedience unto the Lord is how we get out of here. And for the women, it's obedience. But the way women show obedience to the Lord, be obedient to their husband, right? But it has to be a blind faith, right? That you're not going to get, as a female, you're not going to get no points from the Lord for bucking up on your husband, right? You're not going to get no points. Even if you're right, you're not going to get no points for that, right? Because you're wrong just by bucking up. Just by bucking up, you're wrong. So you already lost, right? Off top, you already lost. But let me get this again. This is Romans 17:17. Recompense to no man evil for evil, provide things honest in the sight of all men. And that's one of the things we do within faith, right? We provide things. We do things good. Huh? Open the door. Yeah, because you got to understand that weeping may endure for the night, but joy is coming in the morning, right? Right now we're paying tribute to basically prove that we're sorry for the things that we've done in the past, right? And continue to do. So we putting work in now to prove, because like, you gotta have a